The light beaming into the master bedroom is glorious during the day, and my little boy is growing so fast now. I hate that so much attention was spent moving that I didn't get to focus on him. But Christmas is close now, and our tree is aglow in our new home. The furniture that fit like a puzzle in our former suite fits neatly into this modest-sized home. We have only been here for a little over 2 weeks, and to make home feels more urgent now than ever. I'm thinking it's because this space still feels pretty unfamiliar, and we've yet to live in it and make lots of memories. So until then, I pack out and make systems for our usual patterns. One afternoon when it stopped raining, I ran outside and started putting together greenery to hang either around the front door or on the roof line. It's been a while since I just started being creative with no definite end in mind, but just inspiration. The day after we moved in, I trimmed the bush by our front bay window to let more light in, so I had these evergreen branches to work with. I first laid out all of the branches to have as much of a unified green line and hide any branches. Then with floral wire, I tied it all together, going around and around and around, holding the shape of this long garland. Then I remembered I had some leftover Christmas lights since the tree that we got last year came pre-lit. I checked and these lights are good to be on outside, and so I lined this entire wreath with some Christmas lights and then again tied it on with the floral wire. Now for hanging this on the roof line, I was so thankful that whoever lived here before left some screws all along this roof line. So all I had to do was tie it on here with the floral wire to hold in place as there was a screw waiting for me about every maybe 5 inches apart. So lots of room to keep this garland hanging up on the side of the house. I have been cooking lots. There's something about a new space that gives extra life for creativity. On the menu this week was a giant beef tongue, which partially defrosted while we moved our frozen goods over here, so it needed to be eaten pretty fast. Now before you click away thinking, that's gross, a beef tongue, yuck. Well, if you haven't had it before, it's actually quite good. The texture is not like liver at all, which most people struggle to have with the texture, being as it is, including myself. I'm not a big fan of liver. But this is actually just like normal meat or beef texture. And it's packed with protein and lots of vitamins and minerals. Not as much as the organs like the liver and the kidney, but still enough to make this a healthy and appetizing meal. I'm going to cook it in my Instapot for time's sake, but if you were just going to cook it on the stovetop, you would boil it for 3 hours in salted water. In my Instapot, it's about 40 minutes on high pressure. I'm just filling the pot with water to the max fill line and then adding about 2 to 3 tablespoons of salt. My husband packed up our garden at the former house and brought all of our beets, which thankfully had been in the ground for the first frost, so they are nice and sweet and delicious. Tonight I'm roasting some of them in our oven, Start by washing them and then slicing them into smaller bits, coating them in oil, and then garlic powder and salt on top, mixing it all together with my hands, and then I'm baking them in the oven for 20 to 30 minutes, maybe a little more depending on how big you're cutting them. And my oven is set to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. Once the beef tongue was finished, I took it out of the Instant Pot and waited for it to cool down just a little bit and then remove the skin. It's important not to wait too long because this gets harder as it cools down, so definitely get to removing that skin. And this tongue's skin was super thick and came off very easy. So just in case you're wondering, you're not eating the tongue with the skin on, which that's probably the part that grosses people out. They think you're eating this roughly kind of speckly texture, but you're not. You do remove this thick skin layer, which then exposes just normal looking meat underneath. Now the tongue has a texture kind of at the back that is a little softer than the rest of the tongue. This would be where the tongue connects to the mouth, so probably lots of tissues and things going on here that makes the meat softer here. Not to be alarmed, you can still eat that part just like the rest of the tongue. Well, I wanted to say Merry Christmas and thank you for all of your support, and until the next video, cheers!